So this is the basic Pom Pom Beanie. It's basically the same as your basic beanie, except you're adding about a ½ inch onto the bottom of it, which is in the pattern. I think it's 3 extra rounds at the bottom, because I don't like when a Pom Pom Beanie like fits like super tight to the head. So the Pom Pom Beanie, very, very easy to do if you've already mastered the basic beanie, because you're just adding on a few more rounds. So it's going to take a little bit more yarn, because you're adding in about this long at the bottom, plus you're adding a pom-pom. So that amount will be in the pattern for you. So you know how to do all the beanie stuff just by watching the basic beanie videos, but you don't know how to do the pom-pom yet. So I will introduce you to my favorite little friend. It's called a Clover Pom-Pom Maker. And this one is the 3.5 inch size. They come in packages of 2. This is the biggest one I've seen. And that's what I use to make this pom-pom here. And I just love it. Like, I debated on if I should figure out how to make a pom-pom without this tool to have in here, so that you didn't have to like buy one more tool. And I decided that if you want to make a pom-pom without this tool, you totally can, but I'm not going to make a video for you on how to do it. You can go Google it on YouTube, and I'm sure there's plenty of videos on how, you can use like a cereal box and like cut it in a circle. I think you can use like a toilet paper roll, different things like that, but this thing is just so good. If you like pom-poms and you make beanies with pom-poms, just get one, because it turns out so perfect every time, and there's way less mess, because when I've made them with other methods without this tool, you end up with the pom-pom is like short and long. It's like jaggedy and shaggy. So then you have to trim it off. And this one is a little bit, you can see like some of these are a little bit longer, but I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is, when I used to make them by like without the tool, I would have to trim, and all this yarn fuzzies would get everywhere, and then I would like breathe it in and cough and sneeze, and I just made this huge mess. And yeah, no, not so much. So you don't really have to trim with this guy, because it just turns out so perfect every time. Okay, so enough of my sales pitch for the Clover. I have this chunk of scrap yarn here I'm gonna try to repurpose for my pom-pom. And so you just wanna open this up, make sure like you've got 2 of these arms together. This is part of how, oh, actually another thing you can do is you can cut off, where is my end? There it is. Okay. You can cut off a piece about this long, let's say 8 to 10 inches is plenty. I like to cut a little longer just to be safe. You're gonna save this to wrap around the middle and hold it all together, so you can put that off to the side. And then I have 2 different scissors here. You can really use any scissors, but I do like to use, when I can, I like to use my really nice like fabric scissors to do a nice cut on the yarn. I just did one last weekend because I didn't have these with me and I was traveling. I just used this and it was fine. It just was like my hand was tired by the end of cutting and cutting. Okay, so you've got your scissors, you've got your piece cut to go around the middle. We will use this in a little bit to attach it to the beanie. So you're just going to start wrapping around, I told you this is easy, maybe I lied. Okay, I'm gonna go this direction. Just kidding, starting over. Trying to do it left-handed, kind of, that's my problem. All right, so you're just gonna wrap your yarn around these 2 arms, and you want them to stay lined up. Mine are not. There we go. So you're just gonna wrap, and you're gonna make it pretty fat. I like a puffy pom-pom, so I go around and around and around as many times as kind of will fit on here. And I think this one will look fun because it's the self-striping yarn. Of course, you're gonna do exactly the same thing with solid yarn. And gotta slow down a little bit going around this corner. So I'm just wrapping. It's not fat enough for me yet. I'm gonna keep going. Make sure you cannot see any of these little blue arms. Oh boy, now I've got a knot. I am so professional today. I'm sure you're like so impressed with my skills today. Oh, hot mess. Hot mess. Okay. Starting to get fat enough on this end almost. I'm just gonna do a little bit more down here. Let's see, I just ran out of yarn and that is not quite as fat as I want it to be, so I'm going to just start in. So I'm gonna end up needing to trim this little bit off. This is gonna be too long, but I'll trim it off later. So now I'm gonna start with this piece here and just go, oh, that actually worked out okay. Yeah, so I might have, oops, I might have a little bit to trim off of this one. I don't think I've ever done that before where I use two different pieces of yarn in a pom-pom, so I think that will work out fine. Okay, I'm almost done. So I will just cut this off like this. It usually turns out the best if you cut it towards the top like that, and then that end will just be part of the pom-pom. So I will go ahead and do the other side same way, just open up these little arms and go around and around and around and around and around, and then I will come back and show you the next step from there. Okay, here we are. I've done both sides. I wrapped the yarn all the way around. So now you're going to take your scissors, whatever kind you have. It's great if you have some like this that are super sharp. And you're just going to cut down the middle in between these two arms. There's kind of a groove you can see here. There's a groove right here, so that's really helps you tell where you're cutting. And then you cut to the other side, same thing. And next you're going to need that 8 to 10 inch piece that you cut earlier. If you forget to cut that before you start the pom-pom, that's fine. You can just cut it off now. So now, do not take it apart yet. You got to tie it up first to hold it together. So you're going to slide this piece of yarn down in between those two arms on both sides and bring it around. Ooh, this is like just long enough. I could have made it a little bit longer. So go towards the 10 to 12 inch when you cut this. Yeah, this is definitely long enough. Okay, so now you want to get this tight, 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 and you want to do the handy dandy double. Well, it's a double knot, but it's more than that because you go around once and then you go around twice, and then you pull as tight as you can get, and then you do it again. I just do this one once usually and pull really, really tight. Ooh, tight. Okay, now you're tied up so you can take it out of your pom-pom maker. So just open up the arms. And then you pull it apart side to side. And then you put this guy back together. I'm just going to put it over here. And then you just fluff it up. And I have a little bit of funkiness. I think this was one of those ends from when I put the new piece in, and this right here too. Oh, that fell out. Okay. And this one is just a long one. So sometimes you do have a teensy bit of trimming to do. Sometimes I'll wait till I put it on the beanie and see how it looks before I mess with trimming anything off of it. So let's move on to that part where, see, I already made just cutting that actually made a mess. I am going to clean that up and come right back. Now we're going to attach the beanie to the hat. So the way I do this is I get a crochet hook, any size, it doesn't matter. And you can see the very top of the circle right here where I did my magic ring or circle at the top. So I will shove my crochet hook from the inside out, and then it will grab onto one of these little legs, one of these on one side, and pull it down under to the inside of the hat. And then, because I gotta turn it around, I will send, this looks like a little periscope from a submarine. It fell out, oh my gosh. I swear, I'm struggling today. Let me do it again. Well, now you get to see it twice. My little periscope comes up, wraps around. I'm gonna have to put this down. Okay, I showed you that close up. It's not gonna, I can't hold it up. That's why it's falling off. I gotta put it a little further away from the camera to do the second one. Okay, so you're just gonna send your periscope up on like exactly the opposite side of the magic circle and pull it through. So now both my ends are on the inside. I'm just gonna pull this tight and see how it looks. Does it look like even and centered on the hat? Yeah, I think it looks good. So I'm gonna put the hat inside out. And so I did pretty good at that, actually, getting them on the opposite side. So now I will tie them again, where I do this double wrap, double knot, and double wrap again. And now I'm going to weave in these ends too to make it more secure. And it looks like actually I can't use my, it's too short. See, I can't use my tapestry needle, so I'm going to have to do this the other way. I'm weaving these ends just with my hook here, which is fine. So, moral of the story, you could definitely cut a longer piece of yarn to tie around the middle of this pom-pom than I did. And then you just weave both of these ends in. Same thing as when you're finishing a beanie. I mean, it's just a couple of inches. Try to grab underneath like some really tight parts of your stitches so that it holds better. I mean, this is going to hold pretty well because it's already tied on with a double knot. This is just a little bit extra because pom-poms can be a little bit wobbly when you're, especially if you end up making something for a kid. It's just good to have a little bit of extra security. Nope, I just split that. I don't want to do that. There. Okay, so that's one side. So just continue that on the other, and then you will have a pom-pom beanie. Feel free to fluff it up and kind of make it look, whoops, that one's gonna need trimmed. So then trim it a little bit if you want and fluff it up, and you are good to go.